we knew we needed for the character of T'Challa, the Prince of Wakanda.
Hey, what's up, guys and girls? This is Midori, and I'm back with another episode of Draw Midori. Welcome back, guys and girls. Today I will be working with Black Panther.
Ibombe! 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 Ibombe!
Now, if you haven't already known or heard, Chadwick Boseman just died recently, and he died of pretty much a colon cancer. And I wasn't too sure if I wanted to do this drawing, but I felt like I didn't want to do it right away as soon as it happened, because I know a lot of artists was pretty much doing that, and I kind of wanted maybe a couple of days to pass before I upload this, before I do this particular video. And yeah, it's pretty sad. It's pretty shocking. The fact that out of a lot of the actors that was on the Marvel rosters, he was one of the few that really had a decent, really good resume. Besides a few others, but he in the past he'd been in a lot of good movies like 42. That James Brown biopic movie. He had a decent, good resume, and I was pretty much, even though Black Panther wasn't my favorite Marvel movie, it was definitely in my, I would say, top 5 movies. I felt like it could have been a lot higher if the CGI was better, and the last end fight was better. I felt like the antagonist in the movie was really good. It's just that the CGI wasn't as great. Now, in terms of this particular drawing that I'm doing, I didn't really want to put, too much, like, out of respect for the family of Chadwick, I didn't want to draw him, like his actual face. I just wanted to draw, Black Panther, the character that he played, instead of having his face up there on YouTube. So I decided to do a classic, kind of a classic throwback design of Black Panther. So he's not going to be the one necessarily based off of the Marvel movie. As you can see already, I'm going with the old school spandex Black Panther. So, and this particular drawing, I'm not even doing a really emphasis on his sorry about the sound in the background, but emphasis on his face or anything like that. This is more on like a prowler kind of pose for Black Panther. And yeah, it's a dynamic pose, so you're gonna see I pretty much plot out the shapes, keeping it very simple and basic. And in order for it to be dynamic, whenever a person moves or a character moves in reality, a lot of the times the body, you have to pay attention to the spine. So if you visualize the spine beneath the body, then you could get a dynamic pose. So no matter what kind of gesture a person is doing, you have to follow or pay attention to the spine, because the spine doesn't lie. It really articulates which direction the body's moving in motion. So I really pay attention to that when I was setting up this drawing, and from there I just pretty much put out the basic shapes of the character, just like all my other drawings. The mannequin pose, the infamous mannequin pose, I do that, and then I start adding little details here and there. Again, I could have made it a little bit more detailed, to be honest, since I'm drawing really small. A lot of the drawings I've been doing lately is really small, so I can't really put too much detail in the drawing, due to the size and because I'm doing it because of time constraints, so this way I'm able to produce a little bit more faster videos. And once I get done with programming, then I could go and dedicate a lot more time into a lot larger videos. But this is basically going back on I promise that I'm doing a little bit different things in terms of doing more tutorial focus, anatomy focus, drawing basic focus, and not just focus on the character all the time, because I kind of want to get a little bit more into anatomy drawings, tutorials, how to draw hands, feet, arms, legs, biceps, torsos, things like that. So that's why this drawing is titled Dynamic Drawing, and it's focused on that subject of trying to make a character look dynamic in terms of motion, if that makes sense. Now I'm going to put him in a little bit of background, not like you can see here that I'm drawing. I'm not really focusing too much on background. It's just going to be a little bit of background in there. Now at this particular stage of the drawing, I'm using a 01 Copic multiliner. Sorry about that, 01 Copic multiliner, and I'm just going to do the basic outline of the character. And once I get the basic outline, then I'll use a photo brush and add some shadowing. But this particular drawing is very simple. It's not going to be very detailed or rendered or anything like that. Okay, so now for a little background on Black Panther. Now, T'Challa is a king of Wakanda and the eldest child of T'Chaka and Ramonda. As a Wakandan monarch, he became the holder of the Black Panther mantle following the death of his father in the bombing attack orchestrated by Helmut Zemo. T'Challa had set out to kill the Winter Soldier, who was widely believed to be responsible for the attack. During his attempt to find the Winter Soldier, Black Panther had joined a civil war between the Avengers where he sided with Iron Man. However, Black Panther eventually learned that Zemo was really the one who had been responsible for his father's demise, as captured Zemo, handing him over to the Everest Ross, who he also vowed never to allow desire of vengeance to consume him again. Now here's a quick little quote from T'Challa. My name is King T'Challa, son of King T'Chaka. I am a sovereign ruler of the nation of Wakanda, and for the first time in our history, we will be sharing our knowledge and resources with the outside world. Now, that was a very, very terrible Wakandian accent. I tried my best, but anyway, so that was a quick quote from T'Challa. Now, a little bit more on his backstory. Now, upon returning into Wakanda, T'Challa was officially crowned king.
It's your time to be king.
Before he attempted to track down Useley Claus, who had resurfaced after several years. However, T'Challa failed to capture Claus and instead was forced to bring Everett Ross to the city to save his life. T'Challa leadership was challenged when Killmonger came into Wakanda, having killed Claus and challenged T'Challa for their throne. As Killmonger bested T'Challa in a duel and took the crown. However, T'Challa had survived the duel, and with the help of M'Baku and his family, returned to Wakanda where he defeated Killmonger. Following the conflict, T'Challa returned to the United Nations as he had shared Wakanda's secrets with wealth with the rest of the world. Now, the thing about Black Panther in terms of the design aspect, I feel like he sort of always reminded me of Batman visually. He just kind of reminds me of Batman. He also has similar things in terms of being rich, having a lot of resources to him, in terms of like having, instead of being sort of like, what I mean by resources is like he almost have his own lair, but it's not called anything. It's just his throne, and then he has like servants and people, like Suri, who's pretty much like a upgraded Alfred, He helps make his, you know, his tools and things like that. But then again, he has a little bit more responsibility than Batman. You know, Batman is sort of like a loner, vengeful kind of guy. With T'Challa, he has a whole nation that he has to watch over. So a little bit more responsibility, but kind of similar in terms of being human, but like a better human, even though T'Challa technically has powers. Anyway, it's really sad of what happened to Chadwick Boseman, and again, it just goes to show you that none of this is promised tomorrow. But anyway, this drone is coming to an end, guys. Thank you for joining me, and I'll check you guys and girls later.